Okay, well, hello to the two people who are going to see this video. This is going to be a basically guide for those who have no clue whatsoever about Command and Conquer. Well, Generals in 0 Hour. Should be very simple. I'm gonna go over all three of the factions, mostly just one really quickly. We'll start off with the USA. First thing we are going to be looking at here is the UI. So, bottom left corner, we have our minimap. This is a very useful tool, shows you everything, especially the Fog of War here. So you can see the Fog of War being this darker area, you have a general idea of what is here, but if something changes, you won't know. While the actual bright area being what you can see, and you know what's happening in real time. Moving over to the left here, we have, this is like a little command bar informational stuff. There will be more information here that you will see later when we get there. Of course, we have pause, idle worker, which clicking this will just bring you to the first construction dozer, any construction dozer that isn't doing anything. And then communicator, which doesn't get used very often. Right above this, we have our power bar, which I'll have more emphasis on later when power comes up, which should be soon. Money, fairly obvious. On the right side here, we've got this just hides it. I don't know why you would. We then have the general promotion menu. Now this is useful as throughout the game you will, as you kill enemies and destroy enemy buildings, you will be gaining experience in this little bar here. And when that fills up, you go up another star, all the way up to 5 stars. And each time you move up, you get a couple more experience points that you can then spend on some either new unit that you can use throughout the game or ability on the right side. In this case, I'm going to buy the spy drone. Finally, we have everything on the right side here, and this will kind of grow as the match goes on. Each faction has different ones, so they're going to be a little different. As an example, with the USA, you start off with the spy satellite. Every 1 minute, you just reveal any part of the map. And then, of course, the drone, which I just got, which you can figure out what that does as you play. Speaking of the minimap, USA very generously starts off with a minimap under 2 conditions. You have to A, have all of your power requirements being met, and B, you need have a command center. That's it. Then you get a free minimap. Now, using that as the segue to spawning in, you will almost always spawn in with a single construction dozer and your command center. This is a incredibly important building, as you can see. Clicking on it will show this little informational menu here, which will show, starting on the right for once, and weirdly enough, we have the rally point. This button is useless, I'm gonna be honest. When you click on a building, as you see your cursor is those little 4 arrows kind of undulating at each other. That is the rally point. You click somewhere, any unit that you build and produce will go to that area the best that it can. Like, I think if you try to set it over here, okay, it won't even let you. But the best that it can, it will try to go to that point. You have the ability to sell the building, and these are consistent through almost every single building. You'll always be able to sell, and any production building will have the rally point. The command center will also have any of your special general's powers on the right side, being the spy satellite and the drone. And the last thing your command center can do is it produces your worker units. In this case, as the USA and China, it would be the construction dozer. Now I'm going to build a couple of those, and when you click on them, you'll notice that in the bottom right here, where there's the 9 squares, is where they'll queue up and you can watch as they slowly build. Now, while those are doing their thing, we're going to select a construction dozer, and we're going to see a whole slew of buildings. Right now, we've only got access to 2. 3 actually if you count the command center. One of the most important buildings, if not the most important building, is going to be power. Now, the USA and China both have power that they need to contend with. GLA does not. And on the left side, right above the minimap, you do see cold fusion reactor. It costs 800, provides power for USA bases, and it supplies 5. That tooltip will appear over anything you hover on, and is overall fairly useful for any issues you have. And if you have been paying attention, you might notice that some of the letters are like bolded in yellow. That just basically means if you remember, you can just use hotkeys instead. So normally, to build a building, you click on it and you click somewhere. Or what you could do, if you remember the hotkeys, you press R, in this case, it being R, and you can build it. We'll build a power plant right there. Next up, that we're able to build, will be the barracks. I'm not going to go over every single unit, I don't think it's worth it right now. But, I will still build a barracks right now. I'm going to send this dozer up here, because one thing is that you need money, very obviously. And the way you get money in this game is by building a supply center. Now, money is supplied in these areas. This is the supply dock. You see it has a bunch of crates, and if you hover over it, it tells you how much money is in there. Supplies also can be found in these little boxes here, sometimes spread throughout the map. Hover over in them will also tell you how much it is.
What's the story?
So, I want to build a supply center. Now, I like to make things face certain ways. So, at any point, you can click on a building, and by clicking and holding, you'll see that little kind of arrows that are facing each other. You can then rotate and face the building wherever you want. In this case, I want to face it towards the supply dock. Next up, each building will have, almost every building will have some sort of upgrade or unit that it can produce.
Any more projects?
The cold fusion reactor in this case has an upgrade that simply just doubles its power. And now, you might have noticed this little yellow bar has shown up. This is your power bar. And it tells you on the left side how much power you have, and how much all of your buildings is drawing. We have 5, we only need 1. I'm going to upgrade this now, because I have the money, and why not? So then once this is done, we should have 10 power, and still only be consuming a few. With the supply center, you can see that it produces Chinooks, which is your main source of supplies for the USA. I'm going to build a second one. There's a mathematical right amount. I don't remember it, but we'll just do that. Next up is I'm going to move one dozer out this way.
Upgrade complete.
We're going to build our second production facility, the War Factory. Now, a lot of the buildings are going to have requirements of some kind. So, if we hover over the Gateway Drug, which is going to be the Strategy Center, you can see it requires a War Factory or an airfield. You can't make it right now. Why? Well, because you needed the War Factory or airfield. I'll get to the Strategy Center in a moment here, but just know this is an important building, and this is basically unlocks all of your tier 2 everything. Another set of buildings that are going to be incredibly useful are your defensive buildings. In this case, with the USA, it is the Patriot missile system and the firebase. I will build one of each, because just to show off what they are. And the last production building that the USA has access to is the airfield. I'm going to just build one of those while we're at it. Inside the barracks, as you can see, handful of infantry. I won't go over all these exactly, but I will go over, because I feel this is useful, is with the basic infantry unit, the Ranger. Once again, the tooltip provides useful information of what it's strong against and what it's weak against. However, all factions' basic infantry comes with one extra special little perk. In this case, it is the Capture Building. So I'm going to build a Ranger and the Capture Building upgrade. This upgrade is incredibly useful, and I'll show you a bit more about it here when the Ranger gets his location. Next up, we have the War Factory. Once again, you can see that there are a lot of units that are just grayed out. Can't make them yet. And it also, again, does tell you what it requires. In this case, the Strategy Center, and this one requires the General's Promotion, which is the level 3 stars here. It also has 2 different upgrades. Same with the Barracks, which has 2.
Upgrade complete.
Finally, we have the Airfield, which has 4 upgrades and 4 planes. I won't get too much into those now. So, we're going to build this Strategy Center I keep hearing about. We're going to just build it right up there, jump down to this guy.
Ready for action.
So, this is one of many neutral tech buildings that can be scattered throughout a map. You know it's a neutral tech building because it has the yellow flag with the little wrench, which means it's a tech, and the white flag, which means it's neutral. What you can do is you can go through with capture building and capture these buildings. You can also use this capture upgrade to capture enemy buildings. However, if you watch how it happens, is that it does take time to do, and it isn't an instantaneous. I don't know how long it takes exactly, but if you're going to try to capture an enemy's building, you might want to have 7 to 8 rangers all spread around it trying to capture it at the same time, so then you have a higher chance, because multiple units can capture at the same time. Don't know what a building does? Neutral? Hover over it, and it tells you capture to receive additional vehicles. So, we are at the point now where we're going to say we're entering the mid-game. We're going to run out of money here eventually, and there's only so many supply crates throughout the entire map. So we need to start working on our secondary eco, or secondary economy. The best way to go about this, because each faction has their own method, would be to build each version's tier 2 unlocker. In this case, the USA Strategy Center. Each of these buildings also has a slew of upgrades in them. As you can kind of see here, we have a lot of them. It also, USA is a little special in this case, has one of 3 different plans you can choose. Each one provides its own effects. Pick whichever one you like. To get to your secondary eco, you're going to, of course, select your construction dozer. And you'll see the 2 new buildings we have unlocked is a supply drop zone and the particle cannon. Supply drop zone is going to be your secondary eco. And it's usually worthwhile to make a few of these. And if each one requires 4 power, yeah, I'm going to need to make a second cold fusion reactor.
Have a job for me.
This here. I won't show off right now too much of how the particle uplink cannon works, simply because it is this faction's super weapon. Each super weapon has a timer until you can use it. And the particle cannon is 3 to 4 minutes, I want to say, just off the top of my head. Each of them are incredibly useful and devastating in their own ways, but they're not all made equal. That's something you can figure out by yourself. To go over our 2 defensive units buildings that we have the fire base, which you can garrison 4 units inside of. Fun fact, garrison is really useful. I don't know if the fire base counts for it, but if I'm remembering correctly, if a unit is garrisoned inside of the building, it gets a 50% increase to both damage and fire rate. So it's worthwhile if you find a little building, one of these as an example, a bodega, I think, and just throw in some infantry inside of it to help keep everything safe. With the supply drop zone, as you can see, there's a 2-minute timer going down.
No power.
I didn't have enough power. Particle cannon costs too much. Which is a great segue to now, as you can see, my power is out. I'm down. I don't have enough power anymore. A lot of my buildings are still active. I can still build people. I can build vehicles, planes, whatever I need. But my minimap is down. I can't use this. And certain buildings that require power, such as the particle cannon and the Patriot missile system, are inoperable. They do nothing and are now useless. Your solution is either you sell the particle cannon, or you build more power. Even sell Patriot missiles until I have enough, whatever works to get me my power back up and going. And I would like to say, for the USA, that is everything.
Armor detail reporting.
USA vehicles will also have different little companion upgrades that you can get, and you can see there are different abilities, quote-unquote, or actions you can command your units to do, like attack move, or guard, or stop. All of these better outlined on the left side of the screen with that little tooltip. The last bit of information I think I should drop off before we jump over to the next faction is going to be ways to view the map a little bit better. As the USA, by building a strategy center, you are immediately given the ability called Intelligence. What this does, every 5 minutes you can use it, and it will show you all enemy units on the map. Just one simple click, they'd all be shown. There are no enemy units, so it's kind of useless right now, but the point still stands. Now, that is everything I'm going to show with the USA. You can figure out better what the different upgrades do and different units do. Next up, we're going to jump over to China. Very similar to USA and how they play. and rule-wise. Jumping in as China, you'll immediately see, 1, we do not have a mini-map, and 2, everything's a little different. With the promotions, it is also vastly different than before. In this case, we're going to get this one, just to show off. If you like having a mini-map, which most people do, China's way of getting it is through the command center. From here, there is an upgrade called a radar. It is only $500. By buying this and waiting for it to get done, you will then have your mini-map on the left side. No power, does not matter. You bought it, one-time purchase, it's yours. Now, with China, the general idea of what you're going to do is the exact same. You're going to want to be building your power
Upgrade complete.
and your production buildings, and eventually, you can even see it has this little animation of the radar that appears. But you're going to be building your power, your production, and overall just fighting to destroy your enemy. And I will show a quick, very hopefully quick match once I'm done with the other faction. So we're going to build our barracks. We're done with our first bit of power. I'm going to build a second one, just because why not? We're going to send my dozer up over here to build the supply center. Put that there.
That's a good choice. I build for China. Of course, construction built
Again,
to spec.
reactor, barracks. Many buildings will have a similar name unless you're the GLA because they're funny.
Construction built to spec.
China's defenses is the Gatling cannon, which it doesn't really tell you what it's good against, but it is ground and air. It is very good against. It is a very good anti-air. However, it is exceptionally good against light vehicles
China
and
will grow
tanks.
larger.
I'll build a second truck because why the
We will
fuck not?
live in prosperity.
We're gonna build our war factory,
Look real nice when
and
I
we'll even
start,
build
General.
the airfield.
Sorry, sir. Let's pick up some goods there.
Going over this really quick, which is the chevron. Now, how this works is you as your commander gain experience when anything gets destroyed. However, your unit specifically will also gain experience and gain those little yellow chevrons you see there. How this works, each building, unit, whatever, X amount of experience, whoever gets the kill will gain some experience. One chevron, if I remember correctly, makes them do just a little bit more damage. 2 chevrons will increase damage and give them a small bit of auto heal. And 3 chevrons, which is the max, gives them auto heal and more damage. So overall, it is worthwhile and gets to a point with a higher sustainability the longer you can keep some of your units.
Let's build.
The other defensive unit that China has access to is the bunker. The bunker alone is useless.
We are the red guy.
However, where it excels is in the fact that you can place other units inside and they are able to shoot out and do extra damage, giving them some defense and again, higher fire rate, higher damage. The 3 production buildings are now built. We have the war factory, very busy looking, with 2 separate upgrades. And, as every Chinese building you might seen of has, an upgrade called landmines. You can probably figure out what this does. You build landmines around the building. The 2 upgrades here, fairly straightforward and simple. China's barracks only has the 1 upgrade here for capture building. And we have the airfield here, which has 1 upgrade and 2 different units, of course the landmine. Now, once again, we're going to say we're finally going to be reaching that mid-game, so we're going to build our gateway drug, which in this case is the propaganda center. Now, we're going to build this right over here. It does not matter where you build buildings, you don't need to make them try to look nice or anything, it's just kind of fun.
Try another.
China's secondary eco is very different from each faction's secondary eco is completely different from the others. USA, you had the supply drop zone. China, they have a unique unit that will get you your money. Through the barracks, once our propaganda center is done, you are able to build the unit called the Hacker. Now, they also can disable enemy buildings, but that is useless. Like, I honestly don't think I've ever seen anyone actually use that. The main use of them is to be getting money. Now, we do have to wait for the propaganda center to get done, which is going to take a moment.
China has
However, we will
been
move
generous.
this here and build a fun, unique building
Orders complete,
that
sir.
will make the hackers considerably better, called the Internet Center.
We will live in prosperity.
So now that we have our propaganda center done, we're going to start making China's secondary eco. So, we're going to just build 2 hackers for now. Normally, you're going to want considerably more, but for the demonstration, I'm not going to worry too much. While those are going through, we're going to jump back over to the propaganda. This is, again, your gateway. This has 2 separate upgrades this time, though, not nearly as much, but it is still useful. Each one does their own thing, and I'll let you figure that out as you play. Now that we have our propaganda center, do I have the power? Yeah, I do. I'll build a nuke, even though I don't think I'll
That's a good
get to
choice.
show it off. How hackers work is there's 2 ways for them to make their secondary eco. You either put them in the internet center, and over time they will gradually give and increase your funds, or you can click on one and just tell them to hack the internet. Now, the internet center is actually better to be putting your hackers in there. Not just because they get higher protection because they're inside of an actual building, but because they gain experience faster and also collect more money at a quicker rate. The internet center itself also has the Satellite Hack 1 and 2 upgrade. All this does is the Satellite Hack 1, after so many minutes, Satellite Hack 1 will always show you the enemy command center, while Satellite Hack 2, after so many minutes, will auto-proc, and it will just show you every single enemy unit on the map.
Construction built to
Now, Satellite Hack 2, completely useless, and you're
Upgrade
not going to be
complete.
seeing it in use, because there's no enemies. Same with 1. Finally, China is very unique in the sense that their nuclear missile actually has 3 upgrades inside of it. Both of these will make your Overlord and Battle Masters just stronger and faster, and this is a special upgrade, because it is for a unit called the Nuke Cannon that if you just don't get in here, it's not worthwhile to get the upgrade. And unless there's something that I am missing, besides the speaker tower, which you can figure out what that does yourself, that is it for China. A very similar build order. That actually might kill my power.
We have
No, it
big
only takes 1.
plans.
Very similar build order of you're going to first build a reactor, and maybe your barracks to your supply center.
Is complete.
And then you get your war factory, and you'll start actually producing units to go and fight and kill the enemy. So, now we're going to jump over to the last faction, the goofy guys called the GLA. The GLA is unique in the sense that they have no power requirements whatsoever. I'll just get that for now, it doesn't matter. So, another big difference is that your constructor is actually just a worker, some peasant that you're forcing to work. So I'm going to make a few extra workers because they're cheap and expendable. We're going to just send him to go and build the barracks. Now, since there's no power I need to worry about, I can just go and straight build the supply stash, which is this faction's way to make their main income.
What do you want with me? I'm just a peasant.
I will say, despite it seeming like having no power is just a direct, better upgrade, there are downsides to this. By having power, it actually increases both your unit production, so building infantry or workers or what have you, and also it increases how quickly you will build buildings themselves, which is fairly useful in just general gameplay, because the faster you can build units, the faster and stronger you'll be.
Yes.
So right now I'm making the 2 defensive buildings that the GLA has. I'm going to make a 3rd one over here for demonstration here in a minute. We have the barracks. There are 2 upgrades, a slew of people. You can figure out what each of them does yourselves while you play, while the Rebel is the basic infantry of the GLA. Now that is almost done, so we're going to wait a little longer for that. Our arms dealer, which is this version of a war factory, has also been completed. The last actual defensive building that the GLA has access to is the demo trap. If you couldn't tell what an oil barrel with like strapped with TNT on it does, I don't know what to tell you. So I hope that you can figure that out yourself.
I sense danger may be near.
Now, one of the GLA's buildings, being incredibly useful as it is the tunnel network. Now, by clicking on it, you'll first notice that there are what is that, 10 slots? Yes, 10 different slots so you can put units inside. You might also notice there's an upgrade called camo netting. All base GLA base defenses can get the upgrade of camo netting, of making them completely invisible unless a certain vehicle, power, or what have you is used to reveal invisibility. Now, the beauty of these is, let's just say we have a unit who's taking some damage, which we're going to just let him get beat up on a little bit here. That's good enough for now. He has maybe about half health, a little over, and I want him over here. What you can do is you can put a unit inside one tunnel network, and you can see that he is now in all of them. So I can take him out of this one. And you can do this with any number of units, upwards of 10. So if I need my guys over here suddenly, I can just transfer them from one network to another. Now I could click on them one at a time, or you can also hit the evacuate button, and then they all leave at once.
Do not
So,
tempt me.
the gateway drug of the GLA is going to be the Palace. Now, the Palace has a very unique feature compared to the other gateways of the factions, in which is you can actually put units inside of the building. Now, I'll show that off once that's done building. So very quickly and briefly, we'll go over to the Arms Dealer. Arms Dealer itself only actually has one upgrade, and it is a Scorpion rocket, which is a rocket for the Scorpion tank, and a whole bunch of other stuff. A lot of it, once again, is locked behind the Palace.
Cannot really
And while that's
peace.
going, we're going to start worrying about our secondary eco. Because, of course we are. You need to get that. The sooner you can get that up and pumping, the more money you'll get in the long term. The GLA's version is the Black Market. Now, the Black Market is also unique in the sense that it has 6 upgrades inside of it, which I'll let you look at and explore your own. However, they're all really good in their own way. Worker shoes, fucking amazing. Like, great upgrade, could always use it. Now we're gonna wait for this palace to finish building. God, this takes forever without power. Yeah, there's the 2 upgrades in the barracks, which is the booby trap and the capture building. And now that this is done, I'm going to immediately get Black Market going, so I don't need to wait as long.
Cannot we live in
And the super weapon of the GLA,
There's
the
not
Scud
enough
Storm.
room for that building.
With the palace, we have 5 slots to put units inside of, and 5 different upgrades. Each one good in their own right, some better than others. That's something you can figure out.
Guarding the GLA
And you
underground.
can put units inside, and they get the bonus, as far as I know, of the 50% damage and 50% increase in fire rate. So once again, proving that you can. There are many times when you can use a palace as a pseudo bunker of some sort,
What do you want with me?
because they have more health, they take up a bigger area, and they can also occupy units, and you can build as many as you want. Some buildings, you can only build a very limited number of them. China's Profit Internet Center, USA's Strategy Center, and then GLA's none, as far as I can tell, have a limit restriction. There are some rules, however, that will make it so super weapons have a limit, which is usually the number of players. So if you are playing a 5-player game, you can only make 5 super weapons. I think. I don't really play with that too much, but maybe I should. And here is your secondary eco in
What do
action.
you want with me?
$20 a second, 6 different upgrades inside, and very, very useful. I'll just build a second one.
Hard work.
Now, let's say you like your minimap and you're sad and crying without it. Don't worry, the GLA has a way to get you your minimap back. It's through the radar van. It's all they do. They can spot anything that may be invisible and they also give you your minimap. And hint hint, there's an upgrade in the black market that makes the radar van just that little bit better. But you'll find that, buy that, and make use of it on your own time.
That was a lot of work.
And of course, the Scud Storm. Now, that is everything with the GLA as far as I know. Anything else that you might want to know and need is something I'll let you find for yourself. I will show you a very quick match and how that might look. I'll play as the USA faction, just because I like the USA, and I think they are a great starting faction to learn from. And I will make it's the GLA just because they're funny like that. So as you can see, we're going to immediately start off by making a cold fusion reactor. I think I'm going to save my general promotion here
Let's get a job for
for
me.
just a little bit.
Good area.
We're going to make a barracks. And wait a moment. Now, if you're playing this game competitively,
Let's get to
you'll
work.
see that there are a lot of
Locked in.
people who will
Loud and
actually
clear.
make like an extra dozer and immediately sell their command center. Nothing wrong with that.
Any more
Not my
projects
way
for
to
me?
play.
Make my
I just
own.
don't
Any
fuck with
more
that.
projects?
Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to capture
Yeah.
some oil derricks. These are a neutral tech building that, when captured, will just provide money over time, which is,
What's
I
the
would say,
story?
objectively pretty useful.
On the job.
And the enemy should be right here. As you can see, they're starting to build up their own
Want to make
base
some improvements?
and getting ready to attack.
Good area. What's the story?
A second reactor
Going
here.
up.
Upgrade complete.
Now, did I make 2 or 1? I just want 1.
Need a
there.
delivery, mission, sir?
Saves just a little more money.
All finished. Always that ready. One's done. Any more projects?
We have this done.
Let's build.
I might just immediately rush to build
Make my
build
own
my
road.
strategy center. And there's nothing
Good
wrong with
area.
doing that. I don't think I'm going to right now though,
New
simply
construction.
because I don't think it is
Made in the
worthwhile.
US of A. Always
However,
prepared.
in the future it
Special
might be.
forces here. Let's change the decor. Always ready. Bring on the scaffolding.
Even build.
Any more projects?
I will wait a moment.
Want to make some improvements?
You know, I said I think I might
Upgrade
wait
complete.
to build my
Upgrade
strategy
complete.
center. I think I'm gonna lie.
Building capture complete.
I think I'm gonna build it now.
Can't do that.
Because I started off with enough money where I can confidently
Ready for action. Building
make
capture
it work,
complete.
I think.
That one's done. All finished. Clocked in.
And then, just because
Bring on
I
the
like to have
scaffolding.
fences, there's not normally a
Have a job
viable,
for me.
like, safe idea. You can't win a fight if you don't leave your base.
Need a point man? Meet your new
Now I'm going to show you a fun little trick here. If you click on a
New
unit
construction.
or even a building, you can actually, by holding control and any number 1 to 0, you can assign that building a number.
Any more
And then by
projects?
clicking on that number, you'll go to it,
What's the story?
which works the exact same,
Made
but
in
for
the US of
units
A.
as well. So you can have a whole army
Building
built
capture complete.
and just quick jump over to whoever you need it to be.
Always prepared.
And we're gonna just put them
Secure and
there, and
occupied.
we're gonna also make just a few RPG troopers. Capture my goddamn building. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Gunship reporting in.
Got my missile launcher
Bring on the scaffolding.
That is a very useful upgrade, and then I'm gonna just go with that, I guess.
In the
Got
field.
my missile launcher right here.
Nav system
Let's
set.
build.
Got my missile launcher
Let's
right
pop
here.
some tanks.
Yeah. Got my missile
cover
launcher
in there.
right here.
And we're gonna also just build up some Crusaders. Actually get ready to form some kind of attack on the
Always
enemy.
ready.
Upgrade
Because
the
they do scale not that quickly, but they do scale in difficulty.
Let me launch one.
And
That one's
we'll
done.
go
Get
like
fire
that
through the
there,
window.
and
Take
there.
cover in there.
Laying the foundation. Good
I'll
area.
even build the particle
USA Armor
cannon,
Division.
and you'll get your opportunity to
That
see how they
one's
work.
done. Have a job for me.
As you can see, I'm a little broke. But we will now also start working on
Made in the US
secondary
of
eco.
A. USA Armor Division.
You can see how a good defense here is just going to annihilate whatever they try to attack me with. Also,
USA
we're
Armor
going to click
Division.
this idle worker. I don't.
Let's build.
It's only him. Everyone else is busy doing something. Okay,
Upgrade complete.
that's not fun.
Let's pop some tanks.
USA Armor Division.
Let me launch one. Huh?
Those guys there. Really, no one else? No. Oh my god, that's cringe. Just a couple more not battle masters, crusaders. I can also show off how the intelligence works. I click on this, and you can now see the entire enemy map.
USA Armor Division.
You can also see that they like trying to go for my fucking thing there, and it's really annoying. I might also want advanced training and composite armor, so those are really good upgrades too.
USA Armor
I
Division.
don't like how he's the
Yeah,
only
what's
one.
the story?
Oh my god, he is awesome. I might build a war factory now because I want more options. So you can see my little bar on the right side is filling up as we go along. I'm waiting to get 2-star. 3 stars when you get Pathfinders. Those are a very good unit just to have and use.
Congratulations, General. You have been
But I'm only
promoted.
2-star. I don't get access to it yet. So sad, I think I might just cry. I'm gonna just make a couple of tomahawks. I think they're a little goofy.
Complete, sir.
Those built up. We're gonna make you number 2.
Yes,
So now I've got 3, which are up there. 1, which is here. So I can build more Crusaders. And 2, which is there. And I could also do 4, would then be that.
Long-range ballistics.
These guys are an artillery unit. There's a handful of them throughout the game. USA only has 1. GLA has 2, and China has 2. They each work a little differently,
Tomahawk launcher.
but this
armed and
one
ready. Updating grid
is
launch.
pretty useful in its own right. I should make, I'm smart, a couple of ambulances. Don't know what it does,
Missile guidance
the tooltip.
Coordinates received.
Well, actually, I can tell you. It heals it heals friendly infantry and vehicles. So overall,
Composite
useful to
armor
have.
installed, sir.
I'm also going to make another supply drop zone,
What's the story?
because
Good
my
area.
secondary eco isn't looking as good as it should right now. I don't like that. So,
Tomahawk system
let's make that
online.
better.
Any more projects?
Unit lost.
Okay, those sons of bitches. They've started using chemical weaponry, so I might want to get chemical suits,
Upgrade complete.
which, hopefully, you'll be able to tell why that's going to be useful. Those sons of fucking bitches already? Oh my
Got my
goodness.
missile launcher right here.
Got you covered.
Got my missile launcher right here.
Unit lost.
Well, he's dead.
Our
That's so
building
sad.
is being captured.
Anything to drive?
Congratulations, General. You have been promoted.
Can you not? Oh, I thought you could.
Fire it up.
That son of a fucking bitch. Okay.
Missile guidance set. Calculating missile speed.
I'll fire at anything.
Finally have access to the fun
Particle
stuff.
cannon ready.
They move really quickly. Like, annoyingly quick. We're gonna have these guys as 4.
Arming cruise missiles.
I just have a longer range, so I'm gonna just outrange them.
Just arrived.
Unit lost.
Comanche here. Frequencies open.
1, 2, 4.
Cruise
That was
missiles ready.
4 originally. We're gonna build some Pathfinders. A bunch more Crusaders. You might be able to, keen-eyed viewers might be able to tell what I'm gonna do here.
Scope cleaned and mounted.
We're gonna just keep harassing them, keep them on their
USA Armored
toes.
Division.
Scope cleaned and mounted.
I've got a fun little idea for what I'm gonna do to these fuckers. And because I just want more Crusaders at a faster rate,
Our building is being captured.
Scope cleaned and mounted.
we're also gonna actually build a couple
USA
of
Armored
Avengers, because those
Division.
guys are useful too. The fucker. This is already a rank 2, by the way, because he just keeps killing infantry who are like being a bitch.
Tactical
No,
laser
no,
coordinates
where
received.
are you
USA
going?
Armored
Cruise
Division.
missiles ready.
Go behind the building. Later in the game, as you get better, it becomes a lot less, who can build the bigger army, which, oh my god, there's a fucking gunners. Which is still useful, and you'll see the auto heal in effect now as 2 chevrons. But also, how well can you effectively manage your units?
Preparing launch cycle. Lasers online.
USA Armored
Because you might be able to see that it gets to a point where it's like, your units are really dumb a lot of the time. And it's kind of on you to keep them alive to the best of your ability.
USA Armored Division.
Because you tell them what to do, and they will do it, no questions asked. That's their life, their dream, their goal.
USA
Also,
Armored
there's
Division.
hero units, but
USA
that's something
Armored
you can
Division.
figure out more, unless you're watching this and you're like a weird...
Flight file is done.
Who the fuck would watch the entire
Wanna
video
make
I'm
some
doing?
improvements? Made in the USA for me. USA Armored
On the
Division.
job.
USA
And now I've got a
Armored
real
Division.
big army here. Thinking,
Scope.
what
Our
I
building
do
is being captured.
is I'm gonna go southward and just pincer from the back.
USA Armored
I don't know what they're
Division.
gonna be able to do to stop that.
Projects.
Cleaned and mounted.
So, big old square,
How about a show
make
of
these
force?
guys number 3. Let's bring them down
Anywhere
here.
you say, sir.
Unit lost.
Fuck these guys up a little bit. And you're also gonna see just what...
Scope.
Oh my god, this thing on. You're also gonna see just how a particle cannon works, because that is the most unique of the 3 super weapons.
Any more projects?
They're all basically a point and click. However, the particle cannon is different in the sense that it is, normally you point, you click, it goes boom. Particle cannon is different. What are they? Yeah, they're a little dumb. Like, there's not much you can do about that. I apologize.
Moving in.
That will either fix it or make it worse.
On your command.
However, the particle cannon, I apologize, is a point and almost, not drag, but you'll click in one area, and you'll follow, you can click then where you want it to go. Because it is basically just a really big laser that you
Warning,
control.
Scud storm detected.
And you just built a Scud Storm. I'm not going to let that go off. So you might look at this and say, man, this looks hella annoying because all of these are going to attack me. And you're right. However, if you're going to win, you don't need to kill every single defensive building. You just need to kill all of the main buildings, and usually dozers or workers or what have you. Now, what's really annoying is that these guys are faster than they are, but they're stuck in the back, which is really annoying.
Crusader tank responding.
I'm gonna give all of my guys funny little upgrade. I'm thinking, let's give everybody that can take it.
Defensive laser systems.
Crusader tank responding.
Medical supplies
Let's give
on
them
hand.
all the battle drone. Battle
Armor
drone's
detail
funny.
reporting.
Now I need to go,
Clearing terrain.
because if you can't tell, we're getting to the point here
Standing by for coordinates.
where I'm gonna be getting attacked.
Adjusting for
Well,
recurrence.
not
On your
Unit
command.
lost.
Proceeding to target zone.
but we need to start and
Congratulations,
actually
General. You
fight
have
back,
been promoted.
because they're going to kill me if I don't.
Cruise missiles ready. Flight systems activated.
Heavy armor ready for action.
So let's put them on the
Anywhere
defensive.
you say, sir.
I might know that they have a small army being built up over here.
Armor detail
So,
reporting.
Unit lost.
I don't want to deal with some of this shit. Let's
Particle
put
cannon
just launch the
activated.
particle cannon I missed, but we don't talk about that. You can see I direct where I want the laser to go, and I should just try to destroy this palace or weaken it. Because it's full of infantry, as it should.
Unit lost.
Clearing terrain. Delivering ordnance. This'll wake them up. Let's grease them. Clearing terrain.
I have 3 minutes, I need to target that.
Anywhere you
Unit
say,
lost.
sir. In my field of fire.
Are they attacking? Okay. We're fine. We're chilling.
Deliver an ordnance.
Unit lost.
Heavy armor ready for action. Armor detail reporting. In my field of fire. Crusader tank responding.
Then I might tell them to guard over here.
Armor detail
Unit
reporting.
lost.
Change these guys to 5, so I
On
still
your
have
command.
3.
Let's grease them.
Tell them to come destroy up over here. These guys are also slowly dying because they're sitting in the low, like, toxic
Congratulations,
air.
General. You have been promoted. Unit lost.
Moving in. Let's grease them.
These
Someone
guys
injured?
keep getting stunned.
Crusader tank responding.
So, let's get this. A bunch
Unit
of these
lost.
guys, and it's going to be real funny.
Heavy armor ready for action.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to blow the Sam Hill out of this shit. And drop in a bunch of Rangers.
We can take care of you.
It's 5, just so I don't accidentally pick them at a different point. Oh, I really hope I don't kill my own people. I killed some.
Special forces ready for action. Need a point, man? Ready for action.
Now to show what a captured building might look like, do that now.
Always prepared. Providing fire support.
Armor detail reporting. Anywhere you say, sir.
The building is captured. They're attacking our base. Special forces here.
You can see that the game's still going simply because there's a worker somewhere around here that's going to cause problems for them.
Army's elite.
But if we tell these guys to go here and just defend the area, then theoretically, if there is that one worker sitting somewhere, which there most likely is, they're dead. And that's it.
You are
I know the match might have
victorious.
been a little quick, but the idea is still the same. You use your general powers to help you out. You go in and you just destroy everything. So I hope you learned something from this. My last bit of advice, if you made it this far, is you never alt-tab in this game, because there's a very high chance it will just crash.